The worst of the grifters is coming.
To quote another dead friend of mine, Cardinal Manning, great thinker, he said,
You need a counter on this show. You really just need a little bug in the corner.
Cardinal Manning had this line. He said, at bottom, all human conflict is theological. And this, I notice, is something that keeps coming up as you're talking, which is
That's a really stupid way of looking at things, first of all. All human conflict is theological? That's so... What?
issue. There's nothing to lean on. There's nothing to believe in. There's no objective reality. So, and you mentioned Douglas Murray, your very much alive friend.
He is alive and he's British. It's weird to find a living British thinker. There you go.
Those three don't go together.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
So he has this line, which maybe you would fall into too, is that he says he's a Christian atheist or a cultural Christian or something like that.
Yeah.
Basically saying Christianity is good. It shaped the West. We need it. But I myself cannot believe.
Yeah. Well, Douglas also happens to be gay.
Yeah, that's right.
It is just a part of him. It is not the sum of who he is.
You know,
Wait a sec. Are they talking about Douglas Murray? Doesn't surprise me that the first 20 seconds of the Dave Rubin clip begins with them laughing about dead people. Yeah.
Until you said that, I had forgotten. And it's kind of like with you. I sometimes forget because you don't make it the centerpiece of your identity.
Oh my God, dude. I sometimes forget you're gay. I sometimes forget that you're gay, Dave. Sometimes I forget because you don't make it the centerpiece of your identity or whatever. Holy fuck. Oh my God. Conservatives think that like a gay like this is this meme. Gay people I respect meme. Here we go. Gay this is this meme embodied. Can I get that like magnified or something? There's Barry Weiss again. Dude, fuck off. See? But yeah, it's this. Gay people I respect. People who are ashamed of it. Who try to act straight. Single out of fear. Well, Dave Rubin is married to a man, but he's always off camera. Proclaims hatred of other gay people. Dave Rubin is constantly talking about how the crazy LGBT activists or blah blah blah. He is basically like he is the one of the good ones. It's that thing. That thing isn't good. That's not a good thing. That's people putting individual acceptance above collective liberation for the entire oppressed minority. It's fucking Blair White syndrome. And then they like conservatives like Michael Knowles think that in order to be gay, you have to be that. You have to be gay. Which that's not how it works. As if straight people don't make fucking bitches and pulling chicks central to their identities. Exactly. Straight people wanting gay people to act straight is them making the entire world about straight identity. Like, it's really easy to talk down when you're at the pinnacle. Like, you know what I mean? This is fucking garbage. If you see somebody unironically share that shit, block them.
I'm not constantly thinking about your sexuality either.
Why not? You're not thinking about me.
I got other things going on.
All right,
it's a lot to be thinking
Didn't know
about.
I'd be insulted on my show today.
You do have your nice olive skin.
Thank you.
Thank you, bring up often. But I think there is. Look, Douglas. I don't know. I've interviewed Douglas a million times. We're very good friends. Yeah. I don't know of a position that Douglas holds that is different than my beliefs.
Right.
I've yet to find one. Now, Douglas, in a British sense, he calls himself a conservative.
Yeah.
which, again, without getting lost in that thing, it's basically what an old school liberal is. I have no problem.
No. First of all, no. It's not basically what an old school liberal is. It's when Dave Rubin broke away from the Young Turks. Dave Rubin used to be on the Young Turks. He used to be a TYT guy, and then he left because he thought Sam Harris was cool or something. And then made these videos, like he made a PragerU video about why I left the left and how he is a true liberal, or a classical liberal, which is like basically like a right-wing libertarian but not as extreme, and contemporary liberalism is just crazy, insane SJW leftism. When now he's just admitting, like back then he was trying to be like, the real liberals are pro free speech, man. But now he's like, it's reframed to be, he's admitting the fact that classical liberalism is right wing, just like conservatism is. Like, it's really weird how he's like twisted the ideological like framework of how the world works around in his mind. It's really it's fucking crazy to me.
If that's what conservatism is, and if acknowledging, as Douglas is doing in that idea, acknowledging that Judeo-Christian values, and as Ben talks about the balance between Jerusalem and Athens, if
Judeo-Christian values is like a Fox News right-wing like dog whistle for like LGBTQ bigotry.
If acknowledging,
and also anti-feminism as well. It's like Judeo-Christian values is like a anti-SJW position.
All of that is what makes the world go.
Yeah.
Is what gives us the underpinning to free people. Well, then I'm a conservative, and that's absolutely
But do you think?
And there he admits it. It's taken all this time. He's gone through all of this political evolution totally naturally. This adult man, this grown man. And political opinions, when you're a kid, shift a lot, like developmentally on average. But usually by the time your brain is fully formed, like by the time you're 21 to 25, or in like up there and becoming an adult, your political opinions are pretty solidified for the most part. Like psychology has shown. But no, Dave Rubin went from a progressive, like a progressive on TYT to a classical liberal to a conservative. And he went from an atheist to somebody who talks about the necessity of Judeo-Christian values, and somebody who fucking supports cultural conservatism, like based in those Judeo-Christian values, like that type of conservative. That's obviously what they're talking about here. He completely like flipped from the center left to the, well, I don't want to say, like the Overton window of the U.S. left to the right of that Overton window of the U.S. What do you think about Operation Praying Mantis when the USA took out half Iran's navy in 9 hours? I don't know about that.
Like, is it enough?
That's very off topic.
To acknowledge, as I think, as like every sensible person I know today does, as you do, as Jordan Peterson does, that you need religion, and you need like a good religion.
Society
actually.
cannot organize around.
Ooh, don't want any bad religion. Don't want any religion that's practiced by brown people, do we?
Anything else.
It needs religion.
Simply cannot do it. That doesn't mean that there aren't people, individual people.
Yeah.
Sam Harris, for example, I believe him to be a deeply moral person. He's a
Yeah.
good buddy of mine. We've
Yeah,
gotten
yeah.
drunk many times. You know, like I don't know if you would.
Imagine getting drunk with Sam Harris. He's just like That's actually more funny than I first. He's just he just looks at you and he's like, "You're taking me out of context." Like he's like, "Actually, Muslims are dangerous." Like maybe we should talk to Douglas Murray again about black people's skull shapes. Like
You want that? We've had drinks many times.
Just drinks.
I don't know that he's been
totally
drunk. I've been
appropriate
drunk.
amount.
I'll just say I've been drunk.
Right.
But Michael Shermer, Peter Boghossian, I know plenty of atheists who are good, moral, decent people. Those ideas cannot organize societies. They simply cannot. The idea that you can mindfully meditate the way to a good society simply does not work. And that
wait a second. So does Dave Rubin suddenly think that, like, quote unquote Western society? Watch the ContraPoints video about that, so you can figure out why the fucking West doesn't exist. But like, did Dave Rubin really just make the case that our society is based on Christianity, and that's what, like, everything that's led up to the moment we're at now came somehow from people being like, "Oh, God told me this is the way." Like, what the fuck, dude? Obviously, that's not how anything works. This is just like what cultural conservatives do and lay the groundwork for their brainwashing project to make sure that everybody falls in line with their singular vision for the way that things should be, and all of their ought statements about basically just telling other people how to live their lives.
That, by the way, is...
Which I thought that's what Dave Rubin was against. I thought he was against the SJWs telling him how to live his life. But no. He's hanging out with the fucking right-wing SJWs now.
Is why Jordan Peterson exploded the way he did.
Yeah.
And that also is, by the way, with Jordan being MIA right now, is why it feels like there's a hole in the internet, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah.
Because Jordan, not only did he show people that personal responsibility, clean your room is important, but he also said to them, there is something outside of you.
Yeah.
There is some driving force outside of you that has been churned through the generations. I believe there.
I don't know what that means.
Scientists and the philosophers and the atheists and all these people, they can come up with all the good stuff they want. They can meditate and they can think. That cannot, it offers no defense when the barbarians are at the gate, and that's why every liberal institution is being destroyed.
Wait a second, priests do? When the barbarians are at the gates? Wait, what did he say? Did he say fucking scientists?
And the philosophers and the atheists and all these people, they can come up with all the good...
Wait.
The scientists and the
scientists.
And the, philosophers and the atheists and all these people, they can come up with all the good...
Scientists, philosophers, and atheists can come up with all the good things, but when the barbarians are at the gates, you need priests. I don't even know what this means. Like,
good stuff they want. They can meditate and they can think. that cannot, it offers no defense when the barbarians are at the gate, and that's why every liberal institution is being destroyed. What is being destroyed right now? Harvard, academia,
Oh, yeah.
the New York Times is, every day the New York Times, it's like the New York Times is really in a core implosion right now.
Yeah.
You know how when there's a core implosion, like when a Star Wars or a planet is like imploding, it like takes a little while and then it crosses.
There's the first bit, and
Yeah.
this is like,
I'm sure there's a scientific principle on that. Like, you know, there's a while where it's like getting hotter and hotter and hotter, and then it crosses that Rubicon, and then just the New York Times every day. It's like, holy cow, you guys are like, we all saw it, but now this is just beyond bananas. But
I don't even know. But the fact that he just fucking brought up the New York Times proves the fact that Barry Weiss is a grifter. This is all coordinated underneath, like behind the scenes. Behind the curtain, Dave Rubin and Barry Weiss are about to start like a new outlet together. Like they're about to start like Zionists like the Daily Zion or some shit. Like they're literally about to start their own like. Because why the fuck else would he have just brought up the New York Times there? Like honestly, what else did he say?
That cannot, it offers no defense when the barbarians are at the gate, and that's why every liberal institution is being destroyed. What is being destroyed right now? Harvard, academia.
Oh, yeah.
The New York Times is every day.
Right, academia. Yeah, it's being destroyed, guys. It's being destroyed. Progressivism, let me just rewind a little bit. Academia has a left-wing a progressive bias, I'll say, a progressive bias. Because reality has a progressive bias. Like, academia isn't being destroyed because it goes against your narrative of that society should just follow religion and Christian fucking Judeo-Christian values and cultural conservatism. That doesn't mean academia is being destroyed, Dave Rubin. It means you've fallen behind the times of societal development and are trying to cling to some imagined history and go back to some imagined state of paradise that never fucking existed. Because that's all this rhetoric about the West is. It's just the start of the pipeline. The alt-right, the fascist pipeline. This is one entry point.
Day the New York Times, it's like the New York Times is really in a core implosion right now. You know how when there's a core implosion, like when a Star Wars or a planet.
All he's saying right now is Barry Weiss is leaving.
There's the first bit, and this is like,
I'm sure there's a scientific principle on that. Like, you know, there's a while where it's like getting hotter and hotter and hotter, and then it crosses that Rubicon, and then just the New York Times every day. It's like, holy cow, you guys are like, we all saw it, but now this is just beyond bananas.
What did we see? What is on the New York Times every day? What do you mean, dude? I didn't see anything but liberal bullshit from them since the time they were founded.
It is going to eat out every.
Wait a second. This took a turn. Hold on here.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's a
Sorry.
liberal,
We don't think
that's
about sexuality
term.
a lot.
It is going to dismantle and destroy every liberal institution, and the only things that will exist after will have been the things that inoculated themselves from social justice, and that will be a couple.
Why the fuck does... See, when you're like an edgy little kid, like an edgy little 16-year-old, like, oh yeah, dude, these feminazis, and you hear people be like, oh, social justice bad. It makes a little bit of sense when you don't know anything, when your brain is still full of goop. But then once you like gain some acumen about like how the world actually is, and then you hear these people talk about social justice as if it's like some bad force that's like coming to kill everyone, it literally is laughable. It's literally like, how the fuck does anybody believe this? Like, at all. Like, Dave Rubin is such a joke that he couldn't even keep his own subreddit community for like a long enough time until they all started making fun of him. Like, if you have a thinking brain, you don't fall for this nonsense.
Conservative institutions. Once you let, just yesterday on Twitter,
so well said,
yesterday on Twitter, did you see this thing? Some guy, his wife or his girlfriend is applying for a job at Twitter, and he said she's a lefty, but she screenshot where they wanted to know, to be hired by Twitter, your gender identity, and one was like, I'm cisgendered, heteronormative,
I'm a giraffe.
yeah, like it was like the 8 things.
Whoa. A giraffe? Dave Rubin says cisgender and heteronormative, and then Michael Knowles says a giraffe. It's not a gender. There's no giraffe identity, you guys. I mean, there might be. Like, if you ask ferociously, Steph, but still, it's not the same thing as being fucking trans. To be a giraffe, Michael Knowles. Transphobes have one joke. Transphobes have one joke.
And you look at them and no sensible person
And it's not even fucking funny, so.
Make any sense out of them.
Yeah.
But even putting that aside, once you let social justice in, that these things matter.
Yeah.
If you're working at Twitter, I want you to be a good coder. When I hire people, I have a small business.
That's
I don't
right.
care what gender identity you are. I don't care what color you are.
Small business.
They have to know, dude, every single application for every single job has a question like that. They want to know who the fuck you are. It's not, that doesn't go into the hiring procedure, hopefully. Like, that's illegal, but like, what does he propose? Like, you just don't ask the gender of people that you're supposed to be fucking hiring? Like, what the fuck? That's not abnormal.
That's doing very well, by the way, locals.com.
Locals.com and my production company, they're both doing
See,
great.
like, that's the thing that's so gross about this fake liberal consensus that these people want to, like, impose upon the world of, like, oh yeah, we don't think about sexuality that much, but if you're like openly gay and you like act that way of that we think of as gay and like stand up for yourself and shit and express yourself, then you're like not in the club. But oh, we don't think about it. That it's like this weird consensus of like there's nothing wrong, everything is ephemeral, there's no like, who cares what our gender identity is? But underneath that veneer of openness, there's a consensus of like, we all have to act like straight dudes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's fucking gross. It's like these people never like grew up out of high school. Like, they literally never did. Like, they think the world should just stay the way that it always preciously was in their little fucking imaginations. Like, conservatives are children. And Dave Rubin is a conservative now. He's fully admitted it to the world.
We have zero debt. We're growing. And guess what? It's because I hire, you're not going to believe this, Knowles. I hire qualified people, not people based on their gender identity.
Nobody at Twitter is hiring people based on their gender identity.
Well, so you're a
whatever.
felon, is what you're saying.
So,
You're
so I'm on the
violating the
run
law.
from the law. No, I'm sure now. Well, even in California right now,
Yeah.
what are they trying
That's
to
not the fucking law.
do? What's our local LA assembly trying to do right now?
Yeah.
They want the equal protections to be
Right.
taken out because they
Right.
want discrimination to be encoded in our law.
I severely doubt that, and I'm not going to fact check it, because I don't give a shit, honestly. Garbage.